Hello, good morning, guys. Happy Thursday. I was going to say happy check-in because I'm always used to saying that. I did actually video this when I went down the beach this morning and done some of my work after I done a wee stomp. But my personal hotspot was jumping on and off when I done the female hormone video, so I'm redoing it again. Fucking annoying, but it was funny because I obviously thought it was paused and I was like, oh, for God's sake, why does this always happen? So I was like, no, I cannot send that. Anyway, what I said in the video was we're going to break down this into two separate videos because it is quite a lot of information. Okay, so we're going to have it in part one and part two. So this is going to be part one, and hopefully you have got me on speed so that I talk quickly. So it's going to be about understanding your female hormones and how it is hormones, health, and your future. Now, we're going to be talking about various topics like, nutrition and how that impacts it, sleep, training, all of that good stuff, and what actually are your hormones. Now, I think that there's even more awareness going on right now in terms of like your cycle, contraception, hormones. It's been a big topic over the last few years, especially right now, and there absolutely should be, because I remember when I was younger, like I did not get educated at all. Basically, you get a bleeds and that was it, once a month, and that was kind of the information that I was given. Then I remember one time I went to the doctors about I had bad skin at this point. I was really young, and they gave me contraception to like solve the problem. So there's definitely not a lot of awareness around this. So if you do have like a younger like a young daughter, or friends that have daughters, then sorry, my earfryer's gone off in the background, then it's educating, taking the knowledge on I'm giving you and helping educating others, because it does start from the early roots, right? Anyway, get to the point, Nicola. So why your hormones matter. Now, hormones aren't just things that your body is composed of. They literally control almost everything. Things like your mood, your energy, your metabolism, your fertility, your sleep, your hair, your skin, and long-term health. And if we mess about with hormones too much, then it could be detrimental to longevity, long-term health here. So hormones are the chemical messengers that send signals within the body to go and do X, Y, and Z, right? And I think it's really important. What you do right now isn't just about right now, it's about 1 year time, 5 year time, 10 year time, 50 year time. I think it's important that we should be educated on, yes, the present, but also how does that impact me in the future. So if you're someone that is doing quick fixes, you're doing just detoxes, you're doing keto diets and having no food, you're skipping meals, like you have to think, right, okay, I might be able to manage this right now, but actually what is that doing for my long-term health? Okay, this is why like education and training and all of that is not just about a fat loss. Like your health goes way beyond that. And again, I think it's like not, we don't, I will get some people that will come on to improve their health, but a lot of the time our main focus is always like fat loss or muscle growth, and we forget that actually the main goal should always to try and be keep ourselves in the best place possible. Now, when it comes to female hormones, we have 5 different hormones listed here. So we've got estrogen, and this is what regulates your menstrual cycle. Regulates your menstrual cycle, and this is going to support like bone, brain, and heart health. And this kind of hormone can impact your mood. Then we have progesterone, which is an important role in reproduction. It helps balance out estrogen. It supports pregnancy, especially around the start of a pregnancy, and it also supports thyroid function. Now we have testosterone. Yes, we do. It's not just a male kind of thing, and this is the hormone that's going to help with controlling your libido, so that's your sex drive, your brain function, energy, and strength levels, right? Then we have cortisol, which I bang on about all the time, the stress hormone. So this is what's going to help release cortisol within the body, because we all have cortisol within the body, and it's also there to help manage stress levels, blood sugars, daily functioning. Then we have insulin, which regulates blood sugars, energy metabolism, energy availability. Women who generally have like higher insulin sensitivity, that sinks into things like PCOS, Hashimotosis. It can affect like irregular periods, acne, hair growth, all of that. I actually put on my to-do list today because I went in the lift this morning and I was like, oh my god, I have a hairy face. And I put on my to-do list, shave my face. One of those wee derma things, but I've been doing them and I think it's making it worse. But that's my Thursday evening it's going to be. And then the next one is your menstrual cycle. Treat it as if it's a health report. I get it. Sometimes people can be like, oh, I just want it to fuck off. Like, you know, it's bane of my life. It's causing me so much pain and stress. But sometimes we have to be a little bit kinder and understand that it is actually like a health report. Like, having a cycle is your body's way of saying that it's in a safe place for that to happen. When you don't have a period or you have an irregular period, that is a body signalling something to you. Now, you'll find that, like, I've had clients before who have maybe been on the implant and their cycle is all over the place, and they'll maybe go back to the doctors and nurses and they'll be like, oh, this is normal. And sometimes you do just have to think, when it comes to contraception, like, you know, how normal is that? It's synthetic hormones that are going in your body to stop a natural process. Yes, we use that for preventing pregnancy if you're not ready for that at that time, or you might have another health reason as to why you use that. But sometimes when you are so young, or if you know someone that's young and this is happening to them, it's like, right, what can we do around about that to make sure everything else in your health scope is sitting in a good spot? So, you know, is that person clued up on nutrition? Are they like dialed into that and making sure their body is not deprived of any nutrients? You know, are they overtraining? All of these things can impact that. Anyway, as I says, this isn't just about a bleed. I know that we are educated from years ago that, you know, that's all it is, but it's actually not. I did do a video on this and it covers exactly what phase are, because it's obviously broken down into 4 phases. So if you want to watch that, that's on the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. But we've got the bleed, the aka the menstruation, and this is when most likely your energy is going to be low, hormones are going to be low, and the body's just resetting, right? Follicular is when your estrogen starts to rise, and that's when your energy starts to rise. We feel good, we feel confident, we feel strong, and we feel focused. Then you have your ovulation phase, where that estrogen is going to peak. Again, you can find that it's just person dependent. Everyone's phases are different and it might differ from month to month, but this is obviously when this part is important for fertility and getting pregnant, right? So you'll find that sometimes you might have that boost in confidence, that boost in energy, but some people might have the opposite. I always find that my scale weight goes up around this time, but it's because that estrogen is rising. It's risen to the peak point. Then we've got the luteal phase, which is the progesterone rising. The body's going to prepare for a possible pregnancy, but if the progesterone is low, then obviously PMS symptoms will occur and you'll have a period. Okay, so the main point of it, how can we help our hormones? Now, hormones are built off of nutrients, and if you're consistently living in a calorie deficit, and if someone is consistently living on very, very low food and high expenditure and shit sleep, then all that's going to do is deprive them of the nutrients that their body needs to function and their body needs to go through with that cycle. So it is always recommended, you know, hit a dieting phase, then come to maintenance. Depending on what someone's goal is, maybe go to a growth phase and it's a small surplus, or maybe have like a short dieting phase, then a short maintenance phase, and go between the two. But it just always allows you to restore all the goodness within the body. It allows you to brush off fatigue, allows your body to freshen up. So within our foods, things that obviously help hormones, and carbohydrates do help hormones, but I've put these 5 here which are really important. Carbs are not in it, but carbs are really important when it comes to hormones and feeling us up, but these 5 are, you know, very, very beneficial for hormones. Protein is going to help with satiation, it's going to help stabilise blood sugars, it's going to be required for hormone signalling, and it prevents you having those energy crashes. So having that protein topped up within every meal. Also, guys, I've only got one nail on, disaster. It helps keep your energy maintained throughout the day because the blood sugars are maintaining. We've got our healthy fats now. Fats do not make you fat. They are going to help with preventing that hormone disruption. Earlier I said distribution, but it's disruption. So they won't make you fat. Healthy fats are so good for you. It's different if you were having things like takeaways all the time, donuts, cakes, hundreds and hundreds of chocolate. That's when it would be not healthy fats. We've got fibre, and having a good fibre amount in the diet is going to help eliminate any excess estrogen. It's going to help reduce inflammation, and it also helps with your gut health. Things like seeds, whole grains, veggies, berries are all very good for fibre. And one thing that's really good, chia seeds are really good, but popcorn is actually high in fibre, so that is something that I like to have in my diet, and it's a good fucking treat. Iron, so obviously when you're on the bleed, you're losing blood, which drops your iron levels, so it is always recommended at that time to have like a steak, and that boosts that up. Red meats, spinach, lentils, because when you have low iron, you can feel fatigued, brain fog, hair loss. Something I will say is when someone's on contraception and they come off it, sometimes you will find that their body is has been deprived of nutrients, obviously because you're not going through that cycle. So one main one that I always see with clients is the low iron levels. So there is certain foods that you can put into your diet to boost that up. Then we've got magnesium. Now this helps obviously with any sort of cramping, PMS symptoms, improving sleep quality, and like you're calming your nervous system down, reducing the cortisol from spiking. Now something when you are, for example, around your time of the month craving chocolate, that is because your magnesium levels have dropped. And a wee trick is a wee bit of dark chocolate, things like banana, nuts, spinach, they all have good magnesium levels in it, and it's going to help bring that back up again. So that is why if you're craving, you are low in magnesium. Now what you eat affects your hormonal function. So how eating too much refined carbs and sugars, how does that affect you hormonally? And I get it, we don't think about these things. We don't think about that donut. Oh my god, I'm going to eat that donut. Oh my god, how is it going to change my estrogen today? Like, we don't need to overcomplicate it like that. But if you're consuming all of your foods with cakes, sugar, takeaways, that will affect you hormonally. That's going to affect the balance of these kind of things, right? So when it comes to this, your blood sugar spikes. Your pancreas releases insulin. That insulin is then moved into glucose, moved into the cells for energy, right? And this is the normal process, but when it's repeatedly done throughout the day, that's when it could be problems. So for simpler terms, I've said that if you're constantly snacking, and this is why it's important to have like good, wholesome, balanced meals throughout the day, because again, your satiation is going to maintain, your energy is going to maintain, your hunger levels are going to maintain, and then you're less likely to snack. But if you're filling up your food with snacks, this is what is likely happening. Your blood sugar spikes. Your pancreas is then constantly having to work hard, constantly having to release insulin. Insulin is then constantly having to be moved into the cells for energy, and it's a hormonal chain reaction. And that's often when your body becomes insulin resistant, and your body ends up storing it as body fat rather than using it as energy. So excess insulin within the body can affect your period, as your ovaries are having to produce more androgens, disrupting the progesterone production. These are all like, what's the things that it's like seashells on the seashore? So excess insulin affects your period, as your ovaries are having to produce more androgens, and then that disrupts the progesterone production, which can potentially lead to irregular cycles. If insulin is always sitting in a high point, androgen levels are always also high. And these kind of things you might see in like PCOS, and that is then acne, hair growth, irregular cycles. That's the symptoms of that if your insulin is always sitting in a high spot. So managing blood sugars, You can obviously do it like with a wee monitor, see where your things are sitting, but if you didn't want to do something like that and and find out your blood sugars, then it's obviously then changing your diet to be less refined carbs, less sugars, and less kind of takeaways, all of that, and following a more wholesome, balanced, nutritious day-to-day meals. Hormonal friendly eating tip. So things like skipping meals, cutting out carbs. So things like skipping meals, cutting out carbs. You have to eat balanced meals, proteins, carbs, and fats. Stop just living off caffeine. I love caffeine, but I don't live off it because I have meals in there. Avoid snacking on high processed foods, high sugar foods. If your blood sugars are always constantly spiking, then that's going to be an increase of oxidative. Oh my god, I can't talk. Oxidative stress. It's going to increase inflammation within the body, and it can potentially affect your gut microbiome, which is your gut health, right? How does skipping meals affect your body? You know that way when you've went too long without a meal and you feel that kind of hypo, your blood sugar is crashing, and you're like, oh my god, I need food now. This can potentially set you up for a binge. This can make you feel fatigued, brain fog, you can have that energy crash. And skipping meals also increase the stress hormone cortisol to be, heightened, and which increases inflammation, as we've spoken about before. Again, opportunity to binge, and over time that might disrupt ovulation and also your gut health. As I said before, and I say it to clients, like if you're leaving so long in between meals, like you might experience bloating, and that is obviously a disruption of your gut health. Now you might be like, oh, how that? Because I've not even ate anything. Yeah, that's why. Why balanced meals matter. So instead of having just a bit of fruit, pair it with yogurt, peanut butter, and a bit of fruit, or dark chocolate. Then you've got carbs, fats, protein there. Instead of just having toast, pair it with eggs and avocado. You've got a bit of everything there. Instead of just having cereal, pair it with a protein shake, pair it with yogurt, pair it with fruit. Mix it up so you've got a bit of everything, a bit of variety in there, and it's well balanced. And then this is just going to help. Having protein and fats within the diet is super important because it's going to slow down the glucose absorption. It's going to prevent those insulin spikes all the time, and it's going to allow your body to maintain that sufficient energy throughout the day. So yes, the bigger picture when it comes to hormones is being able to control your blood sugars, which affects these kind of things here. So it allows you to have regular ovulation. We've not got that extra stress within the body, balanced energy throughout the day, balanced hormones with estrogen and progesterone, better mood and energy. So I like this one. Stable hormones. Stable blood sugars is stable hormones. Stable hormones protect your future, fertility, and overall health. Okay, so this is the roundup of part 1, and we are going to go into part 2 soon.